Hello and welcome to a brand new video with me, and yes, I know it's not Dark Orbit, but the few of you Dark Orbit players that watch it, thank you for giving me a view, and if you're interested, stick around. If not, thanks for the view anyway. Right, so Ark Survival Evolved has been a game that has been, well, it's been out since about 2015, June of 2015. It was released early access June of 2015. I've been playing it since about then. I'm pretty sure I pre-ordered the game. If I can remember correct, I can remember when everything was released. I can remember the mess it was at the start of it, and how tediously annoying it was, and all of those bugs and all that fun times and all that stuff. But other than that, it was a really good early access game. It had a very, very vague story at the start of it, and it's just grown since. Now, the initial rundown of the story, I could tell you in 5 seconds. It would be, you wake up on an island, you don't know what the fuck's going on, you see three big obelisks in the sky, you do caves, you do bosses, you do a big fuck off ascension cave at the end, which is solid, and then defeat a boss. That's the initial rundown. If that's what you were here for, you should probably go play the game and with friends, because the cave at the end, most people who haven't done it don't have enough friends, or don't have people to play with, or can't figure out how to get there. But if you are interested in actual stories and behind the scenes sort of text and stuff, you'll have read the survivor notes, and the survivor notes give an overlook of the entire situation. So anyway, this is a quick rundown of the island story. I don't want to put all of them into a video because it would be a long video if I did. So first of all, we're going to do the island, because that is the main part. It's the main thing. It's got no DLC. It's got no anything. Everyone who has Ark has the island. But anyway, without further ado, let's begin. So, initially, you wake up. You wake up on an island after you've created your character, and the first thing you notice is this weird diamond-shaped symbol on your arm. If you look around, you'll see three massive obelisks, which is what we call them, but big-ass towers floating in the sky. The first thing you notice is that the symbol on your arm matches the symbol on those towers. Now, it's not really explained why or how, but there's a lot of theories and a lot of things about it. And if you do the Ascension Cave, it sort of pieces it all together. However, we'll get to that later. It will be the background footage of this, so if you haven't seen the Ascension Cave or done the Ascension Cave, keep an eye on the background footage. I have done a quick run through. Excuse the fact that I'm admin commanding my way through it, but it was just a quick run through as footage in the background of this video. I have a level 18,000 Rex that loses a lot of health throughout the cave, to be honest. I thought I didn't need to use admin commands on the Rex, and that's the easy cave. In the hard cave, I think that Rex would have died, to be honest. 18,000, so it isn't a nice cave. But anyway, back to the point. So, like I said, you wake on a mysterious island. There's nothing before that, and it's pretty standard. You scratch the thing on your arm and notice the big obelisks. Now, when you look around, you'll realise that this island isn't of modern times. You'll notice that we are humans, but there are dinosaurs, and not just dinosaurs. If I remember correctly, most of the animals are from I cannot pronounce this word. Ah, God. The Pangeic. It's a Pangeic era. That was when the world was. That's when the continent of Pangaea was around, and the Earth was all combined, and no tectonic plate shift and all that. So everything was just one big ass continent. Anyway, little background information of the planet Earth for you there. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. That's just completely. I don't know if I'll crop that out or not, because I said the word wrong as well, so it just makes me sound like a fucking dumbass. But when you're on the island, you'll notice there's no means of escape. You can take a raft, you can go to the edge of the map, and you'll realise that there's a big ass tech barrier that stops you from leaving. You're trapped on this big island. And all of the obelisks, you'll notice, are surrounding the volcano in the centre of the map. They all line up with the volcano. So if you go to an obelisk, it will, in some way, shape or form, if you fly in a straight line from the obelisk, you will get to the volcano. The top of the volcano, to be exact. It'll line up exactly with the Ascension Cave. All three of them do. Now, I know saying that would be like, yeah, of course it does. Everything. If you go for a straight line from a specific point, you will always get to the volcano if your intentions are directly going to the volcano. But, like I said, it'll line up specifically with the cave. Now, the first thing you do is you run around, you tame dinos, you do all that. Then you start coming across survivor notes. And these survivor notes are written from the previous inhabitants of the island. There's one of the inhabitants is called Helena. One of them is called Mai Ying. Yeah, that I can't get that right. And I believe there's a few from Rockwell as well. Yes, there is a few from Rockwell. That's because Rockwell is someone else, but we'll get into that into the aberration story. But, so, you generally read all of these survivor notes and start following in their steps, because these guys have survived and your aim is to survive. So, you're reading the survivor notes. Some of them will be in caves that you're going through, some of them will be in just randomly scattered around the map in set locations. Some of them are caves and set around the map. I believe there's a couple in the boss arenas as well. But, so, you follow these footsteps, and these footsteps will lead you to set caves, which will lead you to artifacts. And these artifacts are what you use to get into the boss arena. And so you collect all of the artifacts, and once you've collected all the artifacts, you do the boss fights. Now, the boss fights are really difficult, and there's no real reason that the boss fights are there. It gets pieced together at the end, and if you're following the story, at this point, it is just a random mess of like, okay, so these people have went through caves and then decided to go kill a dragon, a gorilla, and a big spider, and nothing else. They've just done this. And then the Ascension Cave was released, and it was like, oh, okay, right, there is something else, because the Ascension Cave was released on, I believe after the initial release of Ark, so it was a good 3 years, maybe 2 years, 2.5 years before this came. So it was just, I mean, at the start of the game, one of the only boss was this giant ass dragon. So it came a long way basically. But anyway, these notes start pointing towards a strange cave in the center of the island, and the artifacts that needed to access it are from the bosses. So we follow in the footsteps of the survivors, mastering to our environment, learning as we go, taming the strongest creatures, trying to get the best stuff, setting up basically to do this cave that is a mystery in the center of the island, on the top of the volcano. So, within the tech cave, you fight a multitude of dinosaurs, which initially look like they're just randomly there, but it seems that they are placed there to stop you getting through the cave. There is Gigas, there is Rexes, Uteranus, Carnos, Allos, Arthropleura, yes, Arthropleura. I believe there's a couple of Aranios and Titanobores. Theres, basically the cave consists of the badasses of the island. The things that will have killed you at one point in your time on Ark. Especially Gigas, the hardest part of the Ascension Cave. I cannot put this easier, is the goddamn Gigas. Now, Quick tip on fighting the gigas, just because if you do want to do this yourself, they are going to be an issue for you, and even with a tribe, they can be a serious issue. They can mess you up big time. Your best bet is shooting them and then, well, finding a giga, moving away from it and going across some lava, shooting it and trying to knock it into the lava. Use the lava to kill the gigas. If anything, it'll get them out of your way. Generally, don't try and take them head on. You cannot take a giga head on unless you have an army with you, and you can only have 15 dinos in the Ascension Cave, and a giga can take on 15 dinos if you're not prepared. I cannot stress this more. Do not try and take a giga head on unless you've got no other options. Try and use the lava. Knock it into the lava. Drag it into the lava. Use the fact that it has the shittest turning circle on the planet to, I don't know, run past it and turn it into the lava. Anything. Just use the lava. It's there for a reason. But anyway, continuing on. So you go through this volcanic cave with the badasses of the island, which is why I believe they are placed there. Obviously, the Ark devs have placed them there, but they're there for a reason. It's not meant to be an easy cave. The Alpha Cave will mess you up. Anyway, when you get into the end of the cave, you go through this techie sort of tunnel, I'd say, to which you click on a panel and then a teleport ring will come up around you, and it will teleport you up to the I don't know what to explain this. The space station, which is when you realize that you are now in a space station. You are not on the island anymore. You are in something above the island, overseeing the island. It will be in the background of this video. There is some survivor notes. If you want to pause and read them, feel free. Now, in this thing, you notice a few things. The implant on your arm is a physical conditioning and acts as a universal translator. It basically translates your language to any language, so you can understand any language that is around except the Ark code. It will not translate or does not translate the Ark code. You cannot read the Ark code. One of the sources of this is a survivor note by my thing note #5. It's on the island. Another thing you notice is the island is contained within a space station that orbits what appears to be planet Earth, but it's a different time period of planet Earth. The continents aren't in the same place as the continents that we've got, so necessarily that is future planet Earth. And there is more than one island. There is more than one space station with the island map on it. There is multiple of them of identical designs, and there's multiple of them of different designs of things that we haven't seen yet. Scorched Earth is there, for example. Aberration is now there, for example. You can see it if you look. And the Ark seems to be some sort of preservation facility. Most creatures are taken from the Earth's Pangeic era, like I said earlier. Some have significant generic and behavioural modifications, which is, yeah, their behaviour acts differently to what they would have been in the time period of their existence. That is in a note on the observation platform, and it is written in some of Helena's notes, and it is written in some of Helena's notes on Scorched Earth. Basically, you need to read the survivor notes. I haven't actually explained who Helena is. Helena's very she hasn't been fully explained yet, but she is the one on the box of Ark, the picture of Ark. You know, the girl on the back of the Velociraptor on the Ark front cover. So necessarily, I'm going to say she's a very important character to follow. So, yeah. And the humans were taken from time periods within the Continental era, and their preservation record indicates that they have gone extinct. So humans aren't actually around anymore, what we would know as humans anyway. and that again is on the observation platform. It's on the space station. What remains of humanity is Homo Deus, a seemingly incorporated and digitalized version of humankind who have evolved to become one with the machine. It is possible that they have learned to seamlessly blend the language of DNA with that of computer code, as indicated by the quaternary nature of their language. They are listed as endangered, although might presume that the arks were created to save them from extinction. It is not something we can say for certain at this point, and that again is on the island observation platform. The arks are this is where it starts getting really interesting, and I believe the last boss fight of Ark Survival Evolved, the initial island last boss fight, is badass. It is such a fun fight. It is so difficult though. That you think Gigas are bad, you haven't bought the last boss. Make sure you're well prepared. It's just well prepared for that boss. Again, I've done it with a stupidly overpowered T-Rex, but you do not try and take a single T-Rex in there, it won't end well for you. But anyway, the islands are looked over by an overseer, a powerful artificial intelligence who, though resistant to survivor incursion, seems to act more of a test of strength, sort of like the Hunger Games sort of thing. Also, upon defeating the overseer, the implant seems to unlock some kind of potential within a human. Like, you do get extra levels from defeating it and stuff. Like, your character can go past the level barrier. And then the overseer retreats to reconstruct and await the next challenger. That is seen by the fact that the notes follow us. Like, the notes that we're following, well, those guys have defeated the boss. So Mi Ying has defeated the boss, but I believe Helena has, and then you do. So it does reconstruct itself. It's either immortal or there is something else reconstructing it. We will obviously probably find that out in Extinction. But I believe, in my opinion, I believe that there is something that is reconstructing the Overseer, not it's reconstructing itself. So, like, something creates them and then there's something bigger on top of that. However, that's just theories. There's no way to really tell at this current moment. And something else you notice about your implant is it records every major victory with the Ark system. All of the ultimate life force. All of the ultimate life forms. The Overseer is classed as an ultimate life form as well. So it is classed as the same tier level of boss as the Broodmother, the Dragon, and the Gorilla. Which is why I think there's something that reconstructs the Overseer, the same thing that reconstructs the Dragon, the Gorilla, and the Spider. Because you can defeat them as many times as you want. As well as the Manticore and Rockwell himself. But we'll get into that in the next, well, if I do a next story of those two maps. And anyway, survivors who defeat the Overseer of the Arks were at one point allowed to select another Arks to go for from existing databases. So once you defeat the Overseer, you can take your survivor onto another server. You'll have the same engrams and stuff. It'll be the same survivor, basically, just on a different server. So you can go from official servers to official servers, and if it's allowed on unofficial servers, because the survivor download has to be accepted on the unofficial server for you to bring a survivor over, then you'll be able to bring them onto other servers. Which is sort of the explanation of all of the other Arks floating around in space stations. It's different servers. The game's put it together basically so that there can be a load of different servers, and that's where they come from. But Helena and Mai Ying, I'm just going to start calling her May, you know. Helena and May have intentionally made the code at some point after arriving on Earth. Perhaps they intend for us to finish what they could not. So like I said, you can only go to different servers. it should, like, at one point that was you done. That the Ascension, you were done. Now you can only go to different servers. So, like, obviously that is because of the fact that they want us to continue playing. So, well, they want us to go to different servers. So there is no end game, basically. It's a survival game. However, in the notes, it's written that that's the way the code is, and it looks like the code has been changed to do that. So the Ascended, May and Helena have sorted that out. That is basically the island. There's not much. When you defeat the boss, you'll ascend, and you'll notice that you are not on Earth. You are not on Jupiter. You are in these rings that's orbiting the planet, and you'll go through all of these rings, and you'll be decoded into the outer layer of planet Earth. So basically, the island is leading to extinction. You ascend the island, and then you get decoded into Earth. Basically, that's what I'm saying. You float around these little space stations, I don't know, satellites, that are hovering around the planet, and then you get decoded into Earth's atmosphere. You see Earth, you're hovering around Earth, and then you're into Earth. I know I've just sidetracked that and being like, oh, you're not floating around Earth, you're not floating around Jupiter, but you are. And then you get decoded into Earth, and that's as far as we've gotten in the story of the island. I hope that this was slightly informative. I mean, like I said, it is me just sort of rambling on. Most of this information, because of the fact that I didn't want to go compress it all together myself, I started doing it and then it just became an issue. So I looked around on the forums, and the best one I found was by some guy called Cynic Ember, which was posted in 2017 on December 6th. I can't put a link because I don't actually have an internet connection right now. But yeah, it's on the Survive the Ark forums. And it's called the Ark Story So Far, spoiler warning. Yes, there is spoiler warnings, of course. Like I said, if you enjoyed this, I will go to another follow-on with Scorched Earth and Aberration, because they have their own little stories as well. Scorched Earth and Aberration, both of them. Aberration has sort of a background story. It fills in a little bit more to what's happening, because May, I think it's May goes to Aberration after the island. I don't believe Helena goes there, but I'm pretty sure May does. I think Helena's off in I believe Helena's off in Scorched Earth, whilst May goes to Aberration, basically, throughout the story. But anyway, I'm going to leave the credits on as my outro. I will put my outro card there, obviously, but the credits are going to go because I like the soundtrack, and, well, the Ark developers, they deserve their name out there somewhere on the credits. You can't watch them on the game, but I'm just going to put them there anyway. If I get done for copyright, I get done for copyright. I don't care. Whatever, it happens. It's all the music's created by Ark. Just going to put that out there. And yeah. Thank you for watching.